Namaskar children. In the last class we had discussed how VT graphs can be used to calculate the distance covered by an object. That was by calculating the area under the graph. Today we are going to use VT graphs to derive three equations of motion. So we will be deriving the equations of motion using graphical method. So we will be drawing a VT graph here. I have already labeled the axis. Y-axis is going to represent velocity and the x-axis is going to represent time. And remember, these equations of motion will be used or will be applicable only for uniformly accelerated motion. So here I am drawing a graph for uniformly accelerated motion. You can see that the velocity time graph, a straight line going up, constant slope, represents uniform acceleration. Also, I have here deliberately drawn an intercept on the y-axis. The graph is not starting from 0 here. You can see that already when we are observing the object, we are starting to observe the object. The object already has some initial velocity. We are labeling it as u. Suppose we observe the object till a time interval t, and at the end of that time interval, suppose the final velocity of the object is v. So the first equation of motion is also known as the velocity time relation. We are going to derive a relationship between velocity and time. This we have already done when we had defined acceleration from VT graph. I'll label this graph. Suppose this is point O. This point from where the initial velocity can be calculated, say, is point A. This final point of observation is point B. And I'll also complete this right triangle and label this point C. Now, to calculate this velocity time relation, I have to calculate the slope of this graph. Slope of the VT graph is its acceleration. Slope is calculated as the change in the y coordinate divided by change in the x coordinate. So this height of the triangle divided by this base of the triangle. This is something we've already done when we calculated the slope from a VT graph. So height of the triangle divided by the base of the triangle. When I calculate this height of the triangle, you can clearly see this complete height is final velocity. And this intercept here is the initial velocity. So I can clearly write the change in the y coordinate as v minus u. Divided by this length AC is also the time interval. So I can replace it with t. So the equation that I have is that A is v minus u by t. This is again the equation which we have already done. I'll rearrange these terms so that I get an equation in the form of final velocity is equal to the other terms. So I'll take t on the other side. I'll multiply it with A. So this becomes AT is equal to v minus u. So AT is v minus u, or I can write it as that v is equal to u plus AT. I have taken u on the other side and I have rewritten the equation in the form of final velocity is equal to initial velocity plus product of acceleration and time. This equation is known as the first equation of motion, or you can say velocity time relation. So this means we can use this equation whenever we have to find the final velocity of the object given initial velocity, acceleration with which it is moving, and the time after which you want to know the final velocity of the object. So the second equation of motion is the position time relation, or you can say we are going to relate the displacement of the object with the time. So again we are considering uniform accelerated motion. We have a graph here, VT graph, which is representing the same. The object at t0 is not at 0 velocity, it is already moving with some velocity. So this intercept here is showing initial velocity u, and this particular height here is showing final velocity v. This point B is corresponding to the final velocity on the y-axis. This length OD is showing us the time interval. So to start the position time relation, we recapitulate the concept that the displacement, which is represented by S, in case of a VT graph is given as the area under the VT graph. Questions based on this concept we have already done in the previous classes. So area under the VT graph, in this case you can see the area intercepted by this line AB of the graph is a trapezium. So we'll write the area under the VT graph in this case as the area of this trapezium. The formula for the area of the trapezium is half sum of parallel sides into height. In case of this trapezium, these are the two parallel sides OA and length BD. These are the two parallel sides, and the height is this distance between these parallel sides. I had told you in the previous class also, when we had done the area under the VT graph, that in case of trapeziums, height is not the vertical distance. We have a common conception that height will always be this vertical distance. No. In case of trapezium, height is defined as the distance between the parallel sides. So here, when I put the values in this formula, it would be half. Sum of the parallel sides would be the sum of OA and BD. And the height here would be this length OD, which is the length of the time interval. So again, writing OA as initial velocity U, BD as the final velocity V, and OD as the time interval T. So S is half U plus V times T. If I substitute here from the first equation V as U plus AT. So using V as U plus AT, this equation now becomes that S is half U as it is आएगा यहाँ, plus instead of this V I am going to write now U plus AT times this T. Now we have some similar terms here, we will combine them. U plus U here will become 2U plus AT. So rewriting this equation, S is half into 2U, I have taken the half inside the bracket, plus half AT times T, which is already outside the bracket. Now simplifying further, this 2 goes away. I am left with U plus half AT inside the bracket. There is a T already outside. And finally taking the T inside the bracket, I get S is, this T comes in, gets multiplied with both these terms. It becomes UT plus half AT square. So this is the final form of this equation, which relates the position of the object with the time. So position time relation. Let us now derive the third equation, which is also known as the position velocity relation. We start with the same step, that is the displacement is the area under VT graph. In fact, you will realize that during the derivation of this equation, the initial steps of the derivation are the same as in the case of the second equation we did. We start from the same equation, that displacement is the area under VT graph, and we will write the formula for the area of this trapezium as we did in the previous equation, which is half sum of parallel sides into height, and here also again sum of parallel sides would be the sum of these sides along the velocity axis. Side OA, that is the initial velocity intercept, and side BD, which is the final velocity. So putting those values as we did in the previous case, and also I had told you height would be this time interval, so that is OD. So putting these values, half OA is initial velocity, BD is the final velocity as depicted in the graph also, and OD is the time interval. So till here the steps of the second and the third equation derivation remain the same. You can clearly see we reached this equation while we were deriving the position time relation, the previous one. Now here we are not having time in this relation, it's a position velocity relation, so we will remove T this time, and to do that we'll be again using the first equation, which says that v is u plus at, or I can rewrite this equation and write t as v minus u upon a. So substituting t as v minus u upon a in this equation, what do I get is s is half u plus v as it is, and instead of t I am substituting v minus u divided by a. This I have substituted from the first equation, which says v is u plus at. I have rearranged the terms and written t as v minus u upon a. Now you can clearly see in this equation we have u plus v and v minus u. I can read this as v plus u also, it won't make any difference. We know in addition is associative, so u plus v is similar to v plus u. Now if I write this as v plus u, I can clearly see an identity being used here, v plus u, v minus u. Remember the identity, a square minus b square is a plus b, a minus b. So I am using that identity here, and I am rewriting the equation in a simpler form as v square minus u square. It was v plus u, v minus u. I have written it using the identity v square minus u square, or you can say a square minus b square is a plus b into a minus b. So using that identity here in the numerator, and in the denominator I have acceleration as it is. So the equation now reduces to s is half v square minus u square upon a. Now rearranging these terms, I'll take this 2a on the left hand side here. It becomes 2as is v square minus u square, or I can write it as v square minus u square is 2as, one and the same thing. So this is the position velocity relation. It is relating the position and velocity, the initial and the final velocities with the position. So we have derived these three equations of motion using graphical method. V is u plus at, that is the first equation of motion. The second one is that displacement is ut plus half at square, s is ut plus half at square, and the third one is v square minus u square is 2as. Remember, the second equation is known as the position time relation, and the third equation is known as the position velocity relation. And also these three equations are applicable for uniformly accelerated motion. Remember, when the acceleration is constant, only then we are able to use these equations. Remember, these are applicable only to uniformly accelerated motion. These three equations we have derived graphically. The symbols have their usual meaning. V here represents final velocity, u is the initial velocity of the object, a is the acceleration, which we are clearly mentioning is constant for these equations to be used, and t is the time. Now using these three equations, we will be doing some numericals. You will be given any one of the value to be calculated from the equation, and the other variables will be given to you. So depending on the question given, you will have to select which equation to use. Like for example, there is a question where initial velocity, acceleration and time is given, and you have to find the final velocity. So you will be using the first equation. On the other hand, there might be a question where you have to find the displacement of the object, and initial velocity, time and acceleration is given. Or there can be a case when initial and final velocities are given and the displacement is given, and you have to find acceleration. So you will be choosing the third equation. So depending on the question, you will get to know which equation to use, what all things are given to you, and what all you have to calculate. So we will be starting with the numericals now. So let us start with the simple numerical, which says starting from rest, an object accelerates at a rate of 12 meters per second square. What is the velocity of the object at the end of 3 seconds? So reading the question carefully, the initial velocity of the object is 0. Since it is written object is starting from rest. Acceleration is given 12 meter per second square. T is given as 3 seconds. You have to find V, final velocity. So U is given, A is given, T is given. To find V, we use the first equation. So object starting from rest, U is 0. A was given as 12 meter per second square and T is 3 seconds. So using the equation V is U plus AT, we have to find V. U is 0, A is 12 and T is 3. So 12 into 3, we straight away get V as 36 meter per second. Let us solve another numerical. It says an object at 100 meter per second accelerates at a rate of 120 meter per second square. So object at 100 meter per second means initial velocity is given 100 meter per second, accelerates at a rate of 120 meter per second square, A is given. And you have to find the velocity of this object after 10 seconds. So T is given 10 and V is to be calculated. Again we will use the first equation. So these are the values given in the question. Initial velocity 100 meter per second, acceleration 120 meter per second square, T is given 10 seconds and you have to find V. So again using the first equation, V is U plus AT, V is to be calculated. U is 100, A is 120 and T is 10. So 100 plus 120 into 10, that is 1200. So that gives me 1300 meter per second. That is the final velocity of the object after 10 seconds. Next question, again from your NCERT, back exercise this time. It says a motorboat starting from rest on a lake accelerates in a straight line at a constant rate of 3 meter per second square for 8 seconds. How far does the boat travel during this time? Now reading the question carefully, we get that U is 0, motorboat starting from rest. A is given 3 meter per second square and T is given 8 seconds. You have to find how far does it travel. So S is to be calculated. So U is given, A is given and T is given. S is to be calculated. So according to this data given, we can clearly see that we will be using the second equation of motion to calculate S. Since U, A and T are given, we could have used the third equation as well, but for that we will have to first calculate V, because it uses V square minus U square as 2AS. So here since T is given, so we can avoid that step and use the second equation, which says that S is UT plus half AT square. So putting the values, U is 0, T is 8, so this term goes anyways because it is being multiplied with 0. Half A is given as 3 and T square we will put as 8 square. So this term goes away, it's 0. We are left with half into 3 into 8 square, which will be 64. So solving this would be 32 and 3 into 32 would be 96 meters. So this is the distance traveled by the motorboat after 8 seconds of start. So let us solve another numerical. This is example 8.7 from your NCERT only. The brakes applied to a car produce an acceleration of opposite direction to the motion. So that means this is retardation given, negative acceleration. If the car takes 2 seconds to stop, so T is given 2 seconds and it stops, matlab V is 0. I have to calculate the distance it travels during this time. That means brake लगने से rest पर आने तक कितना distance travel किया है, that you have to find. So now A is given minus 6 meter per second square. As it was mentioned in the question also, acceleration is opposite to the motion, so negative. It comes to rest in 2 seconds. So v is 0 after 2 seconds, and you have to find out s. Now to calculate s, we have two equations. One is s is ut plus half at square, and the other one is v square minus u square is 2as. Now to calculate s, in both the equations u is required. So our first task would be to find out the initial velocity u, which is not given in the question. So as a first step for solving for s, we will first calculate u, and for that we will be using the first equation of motion, which says that v is u plus at. So v is given 0, u we are calculating, a is given as minus 6, and t is given as 2. So this becomes u minus 12 is 0. Now rearranging the terms, u minus u is minus 12, or I can simply write that u is 12 meter per second. So I have calculated the initial velocity of and we'll use this u to calculate s now. So using the equation s is ut plus half at square, when I put the values, s we are looking for, u we calculated as 12, t is 2 plus half, a is minus 6, and t square here would be 2 square. So solving it further, this becomes 24 plus half into minus 6 times 4. So this gets cancelled. 24 minus 6 into 2, that will be 12. So s comes out to be 12 meter. This is the distance traveled by the car after applying brakes before coming to rest. So next question is that a bullet hits a sandbox with a velocity of 20 meter per second and it penetrates up to a distance of 6 centimeters. You have to find the deceleration of the bullet in the sandbox. So reading the question carefully, the bullet hits the sandbox with a velocity of 20 meter per second. So this means this is the initial velocity. It penetrates up to a distance of 6 centimeter. So s is given 6. You have to find out a, that is the deceleration of the bullet in the sandbox. So clearly the question is indicating that the bullet comes to rest after traveling 6 centimeter. So u is 20 meter per second, v is 0, s is given 6 centimeters, and you have to find out a. Here it is written in the question that it is deceleration, so you will be getting negative a in the answer. So v is given, u is given, and a is given, s is to be calculated. Clearly we will be using the third equation, which is v square minus u square is 2as. So before using these values in the numerical calculation, we will first convert this 6 centimeter into the SI unit for distance, that is meters. So 6 centimeters would be 6 by 100 meters, or I can simply write it as 0.06 meters. So v and u both are given, s is given. We use the third equation to calculate a. V square minus u square is 2as. V square is 0. U square is 20 square. 2 as it is from the formula. A we are calculating, and s is 0.06 in SI units. So this would be minus 400 is 2 into 0.06, that would be 0.12 into a. To calculate a, this 0.12 will go in the denominator on the other side, so this becomes minus 400 upon 0.12 is a, or I can write a as minus, removing these two decimals here from the denominator, I can write it as minus 40,000 upon 12, which when further simplified, 3033.3 meter per second square. It's a non-terminating decimal, So I leave it at 1 decimal place with a negative sign since it is. The next numerical is that a train is traveling at a speed of 90 km per hour. Brakes are applied so as to produce an acceleration of negative 0.5 meter per second square. How far the train will go before it is brought to rest? So now quickly note down the data points that are given in the question. So it is given that the train is traveling at 90 km per hour. That means u is given 90 km per hour. We'll have to convert this into meter per second. And we know how do we do that? By multiplying 5 by 18. 25 meter per second. Also, it is given that the acceleration is negative 0.5 meter per second square. You have to find how far the train will go. That means S is to be calculated before coming to rest. So V is given as 0. So we are given U, A and V. S is to be calculated. T is not there. So clearly we will be using the third equation of motion, which says V square minus U square is 2AS. V square is 0 as the train comes to rest. U square, we will put the value 25 square. 2 as it is from the formula. A is negative 0.5 and S is to be calculated. So negative 25 square means minus 625 will come on the left hand side. 2 into 0.5, that will be 1. So minus 1 into S. Negative goes off and we are left with that S is 625 meters. This is the distance the train covers before coming to rest after application of brakes.